Welcome back to the Curiosity Cave. Tonight I'm going to go over my book of memories. Influenced to do this video from another content creator, Sandlot Cards. And he did a video where he showed cards that reflected special people in his life. And I have a whole binder full of cards like that. Like to go through that binder with everybody and kind of show it off and give some side stories on it. So I'll flip the camera around. We'll go take a look at my book of memories. Okay, here's the first page of my book of memories. This is the original 1968 game card set that I got in packs. I opened my grandfather bought me a box of 68 Topps baseball cards. And I did have many doubles, which I've traded away or sold over the years. But this is my original set of game cards from that day, sitting on his front porch, opening the box of cards. I know I got a couple Nolan Ryans out of that box. And Johnny Bench also. Got an extra Rod Crew that I've kept in there. In the next page, this is a gentleman I met at a health club down in Omaha when I was living there. He's a pretty good guy. He'd leave me tickets for the Omaha Racers CBA team. Here's a nice one of him with Magic Johnson, Jack Sikma in the background. He was the number 4 pick that year for Seattle. Here's another guy that played in the NBA. He was my neighbor in the townhome. Had to go over and tell him to turn the music down a few times. And I like loud music, so I mean, this is like 1 o'clock in the morning. And one of my favorite rock singers of all time, Burton Cummings. In Omaha, the Otis 12 was a disc jockey there, and there's a street called Burt and a street called Cummings. They ran parallel, and he'd always say live from the corner of Burt and Cummings, even though they never intersected. But I always remember that. Next page, we have a disc jockey from a radio station in Omaha. When I was going to college, I was a janitor at that radio station, and they called it the world's largest 5-story building. And he spilled his milk one day, and I had to go one night, and I went in and helped him clean it up and stuff. And he eventually gave me this garbage pail kid card, Hot Scott. My dad was a farmer, and this is a card that he had back in the day. Old Player's cigarette farming card. Here's my buddy, the Polish Eagle. He was MC at a lot of events around Minnesota, North Dakota, South Dakota. He's the voice of the Minnesota Gophers basketball and baseball. He's still a good friend of mine. He's a member of our Twin City Sports Collectors Club. And I keep a couple of these Terry Kennedys because my friend Andy Strasburg has a little photobomb in the back there behind the baseball bat. He was the vice president of San Diego Padres. He is in charge of like the special events. Padres. The Padres had giveaways and stuff. My little brother's business card from when he was a disc jockey. He passed away 20 years ago. Here's another friend. He coached North Dakota State basketball for many years, played for Indiana, played in the NBA for the Minnesota team, Minnesota Muskies, for 1 year, and they moved to Miami. And one of my favorite cards from Scott at Reindeer Studios. That goes into my book of memories. Scott is one of the first guys I met on the floor at the National. I had seen Dylan at the hotel. And Scott walked up, hung out with me for a while. Just a great guy. If you ever meet him, spend some time with him. And here's another friend from the Twin City Sports Collectors Club, and he's holding his Napoleon Lajoie 1933 Gaudi that he had to write the company to get after riding his bike around the Twin Cities looking for the dumb thing. Here's my brother had won this set back in the day, so I keep that in memory of him. That's the rest of the set. Draft picks, NBA hoops. Here's my mom's, part of my mom's collection that I kept. Her Larry Bird cards. She was a big Larry Bird fan. On vacation, they stopped in Terre Haute, or French Lick. Terre Haute was where he played. French Lick is where he grew up. My mom gets out of the car and yells, "Larry, I'm here." Here's one of my brother's. Shaq was one of his favorite players. A few other of his cards, Nolan Ryan, Joe Montana, Dan Marino. The cards I got from my dad are exhibit cards, and they are in my exhibit set. Here's cards from my youth. This one came in a collection that I bought for like $2.62, whatever I had in my pocket that day. That's where I got a big jump into vintage cards prior to 1967. 67 was the year I started. I hadn't seen old cards like these before that. There's my Hank Aaron, Roger Maris, Mickey Mantle. Of course, he was a center fielder, not a first baseman. Carlton Fisk rookie. Most of it Willie Mays from 68. One of my favorite cards of all time, Fence Busters. Well-loved Willie Mays. And we'll go back here to the Fence Busters. That blue on there is from a folder that I glued this to. It was a Bible school project that we had. Of course, I grew up a Packer fan. Being in North Dakota, I could root for wherever I wanted, and Green Bay was fairly close. And Bart Starr was my favorite player. Some more of my original cards. Second series with the white borders. 1970. One of my favorites. The Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. Kareem was a big favorite of mine. A lot of great names there. The regular issue players were long gone. Then I made a couple buy-in trips with Mr. Mint to Winnipeg because I knew how to get through the border without any issues, being we were going through with $100,000 in cash. And even the guy that worked at the border that I knew for several years was nervous when he piled up the money on the counter in the customs house. And what are you going to use the money for? He says, well, buy baseball cards. So we got through there, and, you know, Mr. Mint was good to me. I never had problems with him. He paid for everything, gas, food, lodging. And we went up to Winnipeg, and he made some good hauls of Mickey Mantle cards. And I'm not sure where the cards are that in this back one, but I got those from Cracker Jack and his dad. Pretty cool set. And of course, it's got my guy there, Roger Maris. And that's my book of memories. I'd like to thank everybody for watching, and thank Sandlot Cards for the idea to show my book of memories. Thank you everybody for watching, and have a great weekend.